Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today I wanted to do a video detailing my personal patrons. I feel this will help us get acquainted with each other a little better on this path. My patrons are Tyr and Eir. Tyr, the god of courage and justice, the decider of who wins in battle. When Fenrir was brought to Asgard, Fenrir being the great wolf and the son of Loki, he was loved by all of the gods, but Tyr was the only one who was brave enough to feed and play with him, because of the prophecy of Ragnarok, which we'll get to in a later video. As the wolf grew to the size of a house, the gods decided they wanted to bind him, instead of outright killing him, because Asgard was seen as too holy of a place to do so. Now, they tried Iron Chain first, which they decided to tell Fenrir, if you could break this, it'll be a real test of your strength, and so on and so forth. He agreed and easily snapped the chain. This happened a few times until eventually they went to the dwarves, the sons of Ivaldi, and said, listen man, we need you to make a chain or a rope or something that's going to be impossible to break. And they said, I got you fam, we'll do it this way. They made a golden silk looking rope, but they used materials that don't quite exist, like the footsteps of a cat, or the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, such like that. And they forged these things together to make a rope out of things that don't exist. Therefore, it could never be broken. So, they took Fenrir to an island. I forget the name of the island, and I don't have it on hand, unfortunately. But they took him to an island, and they said, listen, if you can break this, we have no need of fear of you. And Fenrir replied with, that's suspicious, it's a freaking rope and I broke iron chains. If I can't break this, you're just going to abandon me, and I don't want that. So what we're going to do is, one of you is going to place your hand in my mouth, and I'm going to take that person's hand if I cannot escape. And all the gods convened, and only Tyr was the one who was brave enough to say, hey, I'll do it. So, when they threw the rope named Gleipnir over the wolf, Tyr placed his hand in the wolf's mouth. And when the wolf tried to break the chain, it only got tighter. And in doing this, he bit Tyr's hand off, which was named Wolf Joint. Then the gods used two very large rocks to bury the rope into the ground so that nobody had to stand watch over it. And there Fenrir lays bound. When he tried to escape again, he lunged at one of the gods, trying to eat him, but they shoved a sword straight into his jaw, which sounds excruciatingly painful. So there's Fenrir bound on an island with a sword in his jaw that he can't remove. Tyr, being the god of battle, even Odin in the Prose Edda says it is very much up to him who wins in battle. In Skullskapta Mál, Tyr is attested as the son of Odin, the foster father of the wolf, and the lord of battle. And that's about all we have on Norse Tyr. Tyr itself the word meaning sky or God, depending on dialect and such like that, actually comes from Old Germanic Tivas, which was the name of the Tivas rune, which kind of looks like an up arrow, if you haven't seen it. Tivas was expected to be a god of war and sky and such like that, but we have absolutely no specific or no particular idea as to what exactly he was the god of in our ancient Germanic mythology. We just know that he was one of the higher gods, which is true still in Norse mythology, as Tyr is one of the gods who gives counsel when needed, as he is the god of justice. Now, the gods will convene at the Well of Erd over the Bifrost Bridge every single day, and Tyr is the one who passes the most accurate judgment, being the god of justice. All of the gods except, well, they take great respect for his counsel, although sometimes it's not always the one that they all go for. That's about all we know for Tyr. On to Eir. Eir is the goddess of healing. She is attested in Skoldskapra Mál, which is where Bragi tells Aegir of, hey, this is how this is supposed to be referenced. Eir is referenced in this poem as a goddess of healing and the greatest of physicians. It is also attested that she lives at the knees of Lifjabyrg, the healing mountain, along with Menglod, who is a giantess. So we can tell that Eir has no particular affiliations aside from... Actually, no, she's not actually referenced as an Aesir, as she's not attested in the later work of the Prosetta, which details the Aesir goddesses. So she is a goddess of healing, but she has no particular affiliation, as physicians should. Anyways, it is highly speculated that Eir is also a Valkyrie, one of the only Valkyries who, instead of choosing who dies in battle, she chooses who among the dying will survive, which is something that the other Valkyries can do, but Eir is the only one who uses this on a heavier basis than the others, of course. That's all we know about Eir. Why did I choose these two as patrons? Tyr, I have always felt a connection to Tyr. He gives courage and lawful justice. I've always felt a connection to that. He is the patron god of warriors, of cops, soldiers, that sort of thing. I myself wanted to be a Marine for a very long time, so I accepted Tyr as my patron. I also thought about being a cop and a security guard. Either way, I am drawn to things that are warrior-like in nature, so I chose Tyr for that. Now, why did I choose Eir? Eir is the goddess of healing and health. I myself have a few medical conditions that are not the best, unfortunately. In fact, one of them led me to a very near-death experience, in which case I, instead of seeing something like a light or something like that, I saw darkness and smoke, not unlike what you see in certain cutscenes in the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game, which I found very fascinating. Very strange to see that outside of that experience. But I chose Eir because despite all of that, I am still here. I still press on. And I feel that Tyr and Eir are a great combination for this. Every day I still wake up. I still do what I need to do. If I am not my own warrior, then whose warrior am I? Sometimes we have to be our own soldier. Now, I also feel a very strong connection to Valhalla, which is the Hall of the Slain, presided over by Odin and the Valkyries. It is unknown if Tyr also rules over Valhalla. We're not entirely certain on that, as I said everything we know about Tyr. We have no physical description of most of the gods except for Odin and Thor, and a few others here and there. So, that's all we know on both of those gods. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll have me on your journey.